Good afternoon, guys. Brett here with Directors. Thank you for joining today's live event. Excited to always do these again, bring some guidelines, into the picture, talk over some details. So today, what I want to talk about is qualifying guidelines specifically around income. So, of course, qualifying for a mortgage, income is a big piece for us. We want to see how much we make, what the history is, maybe average out variable incomes to help with what can we qualify for a mortgage payment, therefore a home loan. So what I wanted to talk about is there's definitely an mindset in the marketplace that everything needs 2 years. Now, while there's some truth to that, I think it is often viewed much more rigid than reality. So the idea behind 2 years is we're always going to look at what is the last 2 years history. Doesn't necessarily mean we need 2 years at the same job, or even in the workforce. So, for example, I've had clients, hey, I was in college and I just started a job. That's okay. We might only be at the new job for a month, but we say, what was the last 2 years? Well, college for, 23 months, job for one. There's the 2 year coverage. So I wanted to make that, the first point there is we do not need necessarily the job exactly the same for 24 months. We're just looking at the last 24 months to see what did we do, even again, if it was not in the workforce. I've had folks where, hey, I'm a stay-at-home, parent, and now I'm going back to the market to have a job. So we just look at that overall. Now, when we get into income, there's a lot of different guidelines. So some of the highlights are it's typically looking at what would the potential future income be. So for example, if we are a salary employee, it's very easy to know, well, my salary is 50 grand. We know exactly what the future will be. If we are an hourly employee, I work 40 hours a week at X pay, we know exactly what will be. What that means is we do not necessarily need to average out old history. So if you have a salary or say you just got a raise today, we can absolutely use that. Even if the last 2 year income was a different job or the same job at a lower pay rate, we are not averaging out that income because we know the salary moving forward is X or the hourly pay moving forward is this. So again, very, very easy. I have clients sometimes that go, I just got a raise or I just started a new job. I don't think I can buy. Well, guys, absolutely can. If we have a fixed salary or an hourly amount, we can count that immediately. So that's one thing I like to clarify. Now, as we get into variable income, let's talk on a few for us. One may be I get paid commissions at work, or I'm a part-time employee and my hours go up and down, or say I'm a waiter waitress, I get tips. Anything that's variable that way, or I have bonuses at the end of the year, maybe stock income, RSUs. All those are variable for us. So when we look at variable income, it is harder to know exactly what the future will be because it's not guaranteed. So we do start looking at some averages for us. And what that lets us do is, hey, the past can give us a history of roughly how much OT have we worked or how much tips we've gotten or RSU income. And we can start averaging it out. Now, we oftentimes will look at a 2 year average. However, it's not hard. We can look at an 18-month average or a year average based on different loan products that we offer, and honestly, just underwriter comfortability given the scenario for us. So again, I like to clarify with folks, hey, if we haven't earned a bonus for 2 full years, does not mean we can't use your bonus income and just average it maybe over 18 months. So again, feel encouraged. Typically with variable income, we like to see 1 year at a minimum, but again, lots of flexibility other than just 2 full years. So that's kind of a employed client with multiple variable type of income. Now, maybe the third bucket down is self-employed. Now, in self-employed clients, I own my own business, um, or even say like a 1099. It's technically self-employment, right? Typically, there again, the standard guideline we like to look at 2 years. But I'll clarify this. We typically want to say I've been in business or I have been self-employed for 2 years. That doesn't necessarily mean, again, that we need to average the last 2 years' tax returns together. Oftentimes, we'll look at just the most recent tax year because oftentimes, as your business is ramping up, if we average 2 years, this 2 year ago versus this year may pull down that average. Versus, hey, if the business is increasing, let's just look at the most recent year. So again, not every single product allows this for us, but in a lot of our loans, we look at just 1 year tax return for us. Now, again, like to see a little more history of 2 years overall as self-employed, but once again, there's exceptions to it. So I know I keep alluding to the exception. I like that because I feel like there's so many clients, unfortunately, that take themselves out of the game of thinking they can't buy because my average will low or I don't have 2 full years yet. It's always worth inquiring, guys. So that's important. Now, one other piece in that 2 years, say you own rental properties. Again, oftentimes we would look at, hey, what's the last 2 years of tax returns and what those rents are? Well, traditionally, rent income goes up, right? Or you may have 1 year you bought the rental, took a bunch of expenses for repairs. That could drag down the average. So once again, oftentimes we'll look at just the most recent year of the rental income. So hopefully that's helpful, guys, to understand why there's this 2 year idea. The 2 years really just saying, what did we do for 2 years? It does not mean we have to average the last 2 years rock hard. So we'll look at all the different scenarios. What type of income do we have? Is there any variable aspect of it? What history do we have overall? And what program we're using to determine how we can do it? But I want to encourage you, or if you know anybody that's on the edge of qualifying, do reach out. There's so many folks or lenders out there that take a really basic look of just 2 years. Does it make sense? And we can often, and have helped a lot of clients boost their qualifying power higher and put them into better products. So reach out as always, guys, or shoot a DM if you have any questions. Thanks for listening and take care here.